The mercenary salutes you, Knight. I have a few questions I need to ask you. So how did you end up in the village of Valvanor?
When he saw that all his kin were slain, the knight was hungry. But in the orders, faced with this, he decided it is if...
So what did you abandon when you entered into the Order of the Ember Knights?
The knight has already said he does not wish to speak of this.
This could be the last chance you get to talk about it.
It is true that tomorrows are becoming less likely. But the abandonment of the past means the forgetting of it. And it is often painful to dig through memories.
That's what you claim, but I can tell you're dying to talk about it.
Very well. Know then that the knight once had a family.
I suppose they must be dead. I'm sorry for your loss.
It was long ago. 15 years have passed since his wife and his 2 daughters were taken from him.
The Deadwalker army?
Yes. They were among the first victims when the Ice Lords attacked the Elgander Islands. They were thought to be safe with the other women, far behind the front lines. But the Deadwalkers broke through our lines and stole away the innocents. The knight searched the enemy lines for days, but when he found them, he had to fight what the sorcerers had created from his wife and his children. A dread creature, multiple and monstrous. This was the most difficult fight of all his life.
The elves took a hell of a beating, huh?
Defeat is commonplace when treachery lurks nearby. The Ice Lords used trickery and magic. The elves had no chance. This was a battle without honor.
That may be, but they beat us. And now we only have the scattered remains of what was probably the most powerful army anyone has seen in an age. Doesn't it seem a little hopeless?
This whole war is without hope. But since the knight and his companion are here, they might as well fight until the bitter end.
Let's change the subject. I'll leave you.
Mercenary, it is well that you are returned. A creature that seemed like a dead thing came. It claimed you had sent it.
Yeah, he's a potential ally. Don't worry about it.
I fear I attacked him, and arrested him. He tried to talk to me, but I felt safer with it under guard, considering his face.
Where is he now?
He is with the Red Scribes.
Perfect. Mathras, do you have a moment?
My dear, I have all of eternity.
Who are you exactly?
I am Mathras, immortal and unique.
Right. So why aren't you out there hanging out with your Deadwalker friends?
First of all, I don't have any pals. I'm a little too old for that. Secondly, I find your implication that I'm associated with them most unpleasant. I have nothing in common with those dead things. I've been around for over 6,000 years, and I'm still very much alive, thank you. I admit this body is looking a little worn.
6,000 years old. Hey, you don't look a day over 250.
You flatterer. I did, however, lose a toe this morning. Nonetheless, these dead walkers are simply corpses as they're animated by magic. Whereas I am an immortal spirit who changes bodies when they wear out. There's absolutely no similarity.
But that's awful. You steal bodies?
Alas, voluntary donations are hard to come by. If you hear of any, do let me know. I'm on the lookout. But if it reassures your delicate sensibilities, I generally choose dead bodies.
I want to ask you a couple of questions. Why did you come to Carolthas?
Why not? There's one thing you should know about eternity. It can be rather dull. So I do my very best to be in the right place at the right time. The place where it's the most fun.
Fun? You think this is fun?
Well, distracting then, if you prefer. What do you expect? I'm just so bored. The End of the World is a show I wouldn't want to miss.
What do you know about the Dead Walkers?
Apart from the fact that they're an incongruous mass of corpses with appalling bad taste that are animated through the use of magic, nothing. I can tell you that the power necessary for their creation, and to keep them working, is far beyond the magical abilities of any of your contemporaries. And since it's obvious they're incapable of any decision-making or strategy, they are clearly being controlled from a distance. All of which suggests the Ice Lords who are controlling these things are rather powerful. Something, I grant you, quite difficult to believe when one saw them start out at the same pitiful level of incompetence as their brothers, the Red Scribes.
In 6,000 years, have you ever seen a situation as desperate as this one?
Honestly? Well, no. You are, as you might put it, fucked. Or at least the mortals seem to be. But you carry something within you that may modify things somewhat. And it is this seemingly insignificant detail, this flap of a butterfly's wing, which may eventually change the apparently manifest destiny of the world as you know it. This demon, as you call it, has never before walked the earth. Neither he, neither it, nor any other of its kind. If they had, I would know of it, believe me. Consequently, and in spite of the evident futility of such a sentiment, there may be grounds for you to feel a slight glimmer of hope. That is, of course, if it is your desire to avert disaster.
Well, that's comforting. What happened to the Elven King?
I think he was simply lacking in strength of will and determination. They transformed him into an arch-lich. It's a particularly delicate and extremely dangerous magical process that could only be performed by an Ice Lord. It can only be performed on an elf, and then only one who is desperate to live.
How so?
Elves have many flaws, but most of them do have a very profound sense of duty. If an elf believes he is going to be tortured to make him reveal the secrets of his people, for example, he can literally will himself to die. It would seem that this king was desperate to continue living at any price, rather than dying with honor. That is what allowed them to turn him into an arch-lich.
Do you have any idea about what I am becoming?
In all my long lives, I've never seen your like. Even the term demon seems to be designed to cause confusion. I have seen real demons when I lived as a war drum player amongst the dwarves.
Dwarves are just legend. You're yanking my chain.
It would be churlish to mock someone when it is so easy. Thus the dwarves did exist, and I was once one of them. They used to use these little creatures, barely the size of toddlers, in their enormous forges. They were little red creatures with tiny horns and a wicked air about them. You see, they were able to survive in the flames. The dwarves called them demons. You look a little like one of them, only much bigger. And you have an even more pronounced affinity with fire. I'm reserving judgment about the wicked attitude. I believe this affinity with flames is no coincidence. You are clearly a response, a weapon, and your purpose is to face the Ice Lords. It is entirely possible that you are the fruit of an attempt to rebalance the forces of nature. Alas, I have no idea which entity is behind all of this.
How are things with Sybil?
What a charming young girl. Her hunger for knowledge reminds me of myself in the distant past, when I was young and still living in my first body. I imagine that if I still felt any physical desires, I would happily give her a good few hours of one-on-one experimental physical training. And it seems to me that she's rather more interested in getting your attention. At any rate, she is by far the most interesting red scribe I've met in the past 300 years. Though I fear that may not be much of a compliment, given their legendary incompetence.
Talk to you later.